Hi, today I'll be teaching on the topic vaccine, especially the COVID-19 vaccine. Now let's look at the basic structure of coronavirus. Before that, here is an important note. COVID-19 is the name of the disease caused by the SARS-CoV-2 virus. So the name of the virus is SARS-CoV-2, but for now we will call it coronavirus. Now the genetic material of coronavirus is RNA, and the protein covering that covers the genetic material is of three types: membrane protein, envelope protein, and spike protein. Now, even though the genetic material is what causes COVID-19, the spike protein is the main target for developing vaccine. Now let us see why we are targeting the spike protein. The spike protein. Now the basic function of the spike protein is to allow the virus to penetrate host cells and cause infection. Its presence gives rise to the spike-shaped protrusion found on their surface. So, if we are able to develop a way on how to destroy this spike protein when the virus enters the body, then we will be able to prevent the virus to penetrate host cells and cause infection. So that is why we are targeting this spike protein. And I'm sure all of you have seen illustrations and pictures of the virus, and you will see the similar spike-shaped projections from the surface. And this is also due to spike protein. Now, why are we targeting the spike protein? And as I've mentioned, without it, the virus will not be able to interact with the cells of the potential host like animals and humans to cause infection. It is also a major inducer of antibodies. Now these antibodies is produced by our body in response to the virus. And this is the main aim of the vaccine, that is to produce antibodies. Now what happens when antibodies is produced by our body? Once antibodies attack the spike protein, it disarms the ability of the virus to bind or invade the cell. Now I hope you guys are clear on why this spike protein is very important and why it is the main target for developing vaccines. Now here are some types of vaccines that has been recommended and approved for research in developing the vaccine. First, we have inactivated vaccine, protein subunit vaccine, mRNA vaccine, and viral vector vaccine. Now let's learn how these vaccines work. First, we have inactivated vaccine. Now this antigen is any agent that is harmful to our body, and in this case our antigen is the coronavirus. However, in this inactivated vaccine, the antigen we use is an inactivated or dead version of the virus. Now since this virus is a dead version, it does not replicate in the body and therefore needs multiple doses of this vaccine. When injected, our antibodies attack the antigen and specialized memory cells take note of the specific antigens. So when this antigen is injected into our body recognizes it as a foreign particle. And mind you that this antigen is a harmless virus, it's a harmless dead version of the virus, so it cannot cause COVID-19. And in response to it, our body starts producing antibodies. And now the antibodies will attack the antigen, and specialized cells called memory cells will remember. Our body will now remember these antigens, and this stimulates the immune system to produce cells and antibodies that recognizes the antigen. Now our immune system will start producing antibodies specific to this antigen, that is the coronavirus. Now our immune system is ready to fight the live virus in the future. And in this way, the vaccine helps our body to fight the actual virus. Next, we have the protein subunit vaccine. And again, the antigen used here is the spike protein of the virus. So we do not use the whole virus here, we just use the spike protein of the virus. It is not capable of infesting the host cells. which means that this virus also cannot cause COVID-19 and is very safe. However, it may trigger a weaker immune response. To help with that, it is injected along with chemical agents called adjuvants or even booster shots to stimulate stronger immune response. Now this is the basic mechanism of the protein subunit vaccine. Next we have the viral vector vaccine. Now the antigen in the previous vaccines we have discussed, antigen is directly injected into the body. However, in this vaccine, the antigen is produced by our body itself. Now we used mRNA for this vaccine, and this mRNA contains information to make copies of spike proteins of the virus. Now again, this vaccine is also completely safe because it contains information on how to make the spike proteins of the virus only. And when the genetic code is introduced to a harmless virus which acts as the delivery guide, that is the vector. Now this mRNA, which contains information to make spike proteins, will be injected into a harmless virus which acts as the delivery guide of the mRNA. And once injected, our cells start producing spike proteins which act as an antigen and triggers our immune response. So now our cells will start producing spike proteins and our body will recognize it as a foreign particle and start producing antibodies. And similarly, memory cells keep note of the antigen and produce specific antibodies in the future. Now I hope you guys are clear with this viral vector vaccine. Again, this vaccine is very safe. It just contains mRNA, which has information to make spike proteins of the virus only. Next we have mRNA. The only difference between viral vector vaccine and mRNA is that in viral vector vaccine, the mRNA is injected into a harmless virus which acts as a vector. However, in mRNA vaccine, the genetic code is inserted directly into the cells without using any vector. So this is only the basic difference between mRNA vaccine. Now I hope you guys are clear with all the vaccine types. Now let's look at India's COVID vaccines. Now India is currently using two vaccines. First we have Covaxin, and the type of vaccine is the inactivated vaccine, which uses inactivated virus, and it is administered 2 times into the body 4 weeks apart. And the second vaccine is called Covaxin, and this type is the viral vector vaccine, and it is also administered 2 times with 8 to 12 weeks apart. Now I'm sure you have already learned that all these vaccines do not contain any part of the virus that can cause COVID-19. So which makes these vaccines safe and cannot cause COVID-19 in any way. Thank you.